welcome to Let's Talk. Today we have with us Sara Sham from Isaji's Atelier. Hi Sara.
Hi Ritika, thanks so much for having me.
It's great to have you here. Sara, you've been an inspiration to a lot of young ladies out there. I would like to know that, while growing up, what did you dream of becoming?
So first of all, I still find it very weird that people are inspired by me. It takes a lot for me to wrap my head around that. But I actually always wanted to be a vet. I'm really fond of animals, and I always wanted to be a vet and do something with animals. I actually worked at an animal shelter for 3 years when I was in college, and I volunteered a lot even when I came back. And design was something that was not at all on my agenda. It was only to do with animals, so definitely went in a very different direction to what I thought.
Right, and then you got into art, and now you're more into designing spaces. So,
Yes.
How is that transition from being an art curator to a designer full-fledged now? How has that journey been?
I think when you read my resume or when people introduce me, it sounds very glamorous, like, she studied art history and she did this and she did that. But the reality is I was very confused and I did not know what I wanted to do. So I kept trying things out and realizing that it was not working for me. And then I used to be like, oh shit, okay, I did this, it doesn't work. Okay, I'll try something else.
Right.
I've had maybe like 10 different jobs. I've tried multiple things. I have failed at most of them. And then I came upon design. And that seems to be going okay for me right now.
So this makes me realize the importance of career counseling, how important it is to have an institute that offer you that some help with deciding your career as well.
I agree, yes.
Because we are spoiled for choices, at least.
But I think that makes it harder because when you have so many options, you don't know, because you can be this and you can be that and you can be something so specific also. It just becomes really difficult to narrow down exactly what it is. And it's amazing because even 5 years ago, 7 years ago, it was not such a diversified space.
True.
Even within interiors now, there are so many types of interior stylists. There's so many types of visual merchandisers. Visual merchandisers only for jewelry, visual merchandisers only for retail, visual merchandisers for in-store, visual merchandisers for front of store. It's so specific that it becomes more confusing for a young person because you don't know where you're supposed to go.
But also it's great to have so many career options after studying design.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So Sara, you were born in a family of artists and art dealers. So how does it feel? Has that been your direct inspiration while growing up?
Now looking back, yes. But we have a 4th generation family company, and there were 3 generations of boys or men. And then there was me and my sister, and my sister had no interest in the family business, so it was only me. And I actually didn't want to do it. So that's why I tried everything else except for the art, furniture and antiques. So I was a news anchor at one point. I studied biology, I studied public policy, I tried everything else. I worked at an ad agency, I worked at Vogue, I worked at Saffron Art. I tried everything but that. And then finally when I arrived at that, then everything started making sense because you realize how much influence it actually has had on you. And I think my grandfather used to really teach us a lot. We lived with him. And so almost every day he used to bring something small back and be like, this is like a, 12th century Indus Valley civilization piece. Or, we used to see some things that were completely crazy. So art, antiques, furniture, design, it's in my DNA. And now it's a huge advantage and I'm so happy that it's there, but I fought it for a long time.
So what was your first paid job, the first paid gig that you actually got paid for?
I worked at Grey Global for my first college year internship, an ad agency in the creative department.
Okay, so you've studied art and then you got into specifically interior design. Who has been your role model through this whole design journey from art to interior design?
I don't think there was one specific role model through that journey, but after my first year of design, I worked for a few months in LA with a designer called Erica Brunson, and her practice was incredible because she only did the most luxurious, amazing spaces for like Saudi princes, basically in and around Bel Air. And she took all the money that she earned and she put it into animal charities. And so she had this huge ecosystem of all these animal ambulances and all these facilities for all the animals of LA. And she was a huge force in the community for good, which was amazing. Huge role model for me for sure.
Brilliant. So what was that point in life when you thought that you've accomplished as a designer?
I think I always feel like there's a lot of scope for improvement, but I actually really enjoy meeting students and going for design events, because you meet a lot of young people that are 21 or 19 and they're like, oh my God, we look up to you, or how did you do this and that? And at that point, some little penny drops where you realize, okay, maybe I am doing something right.
You also have these curated workshops
Yes.
where you go and talk to designers, which would be great. Like even at ITM, their design institute they organize these workshops because it's so important to have that kind of inspiration in front of you.
Yes, I also think there are a lot of practical things that are there in the workplace that colleges do need to integrate into their curriculum, and it is very different in the real world versus what it is in college, because your clients are very difficult in the real world. It's not such a easy space like in college. You're just given design 10,000 square feet, this is it, and there's no other real parameters. But in real life, your client is going to change their mind 100 times through the process. So there are a lot of practical learnings that do need to get integrated within the college environments for sure.
Right. So, and you've adopted cute little indie pup. I just want to know that you take her to the sites and everywhere. So this kind of freedom is only possible when you own a business. What are the disadvantages and advantages of being in the industry, working under someone versus having your own setup?
I think working under someone is amazing because you get to learn all the mistakes of yours and that person's, while never actually paying for any of the mistakes. It doesn't impact you. You still get paid at the end of the month, and you still get to do what you got to do. And for those that are looking for jobs, I would always recommend working with a smaller firm, because you get an opportunity to do everything hands-on.
And you're in a key role.
Working in my own company, I love it so much. But it is constant pressure and stress, and it's really not as glamorous as it looks. You can have your own schedule, but you rarely do, because you have so many people that you're responsible for and so many things that you're responsible to complete that you're actually on call all the time.
So you're busy managing a lot of things apart from being a designer.
Exactly. And then you also have to become a CEO.
Chief Everything Officer.
Chief Everything Officer, And you have to become a business manager and an accountant and an HR person, and you have to manage all of this stuff. And so the amount of design work that you do starts getting less and less. And so all the design work actually happens when you work for someone else's firm.
Sarah, you also have a very beautiful house, and you have literally designed the entire space for yourself. So we'll do a small walkthrough of your space, but can you quickly tell us what were your influences while you were actually doing up your own space?
We live in a rental apartment, and so budgets were very limited, and we worked with the landlady on what her budgets were for the civil work. The house was not lived in for 25 years. So we had to maintain a lot of the features because of budgetary reasons, but we actually had free reign to do a lot of stuff there, which was amazing. And it's a huge advantage that the house has so much natural light.
So is it the same process that you follow for clients and your own space? Was it same or
no? It was very different. It was a really difficult process because I'm actually used to working with large budgets for my residential projects, and when it came to my own house, I was supposed to work on this really tight budget. So usually I'm used to telling my clients, you have to buy this, you have to buy this, you have to buy this. And when it's my own house, I was like, I won't buy this. I can't afford this. Maybe next time I'll buy that. So I had to really, it was a very difficult process for me to try and scale back. Though I think eventually we managed okay.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. On that point, let's add some fun to this conversation. I have my own version of rapid fire. We call it the unfiltered.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you like a set of questions, and you have to be really quick with answering them. You good to go?
Yes.
Your first question is monuments or interiors?
Interiors.
Where do you get your best work done? Home, office, seaside?
Office.
What do you do when you're down? Ice cream or workout?
TV.
TV, Netflix and chill. If not design, what would you be into?
Vet.
You'll be a veteran.
Animals, yeah.
Exact moment when you decided to become an architect.
When everything else failed for me and I had no other option.
Exact moment when you decided to become an interior designer.
When all my other options had failed and I had only one option left to try.
Your favorite artist?
Dali, Salvador Dali for sure.
Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, best design in the artificial universe.
Game of Thrones.
You really like Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I think the period sets are fantastic.
Okay, one word for design in 2020?
Exciting.
If I'm your fairy godmother and I could grant you one wish, what would that be?
32 hours in the day.
32 hours in a day given. You were fabulous, Sara. All your answers were great.
Thank you.
It was lovely to have you here. And on a parting note, if there is a message that you want to give out to our audience, please feel free to talk about it.
So if there are any students that are watching this, or if this video is made for you guys, if you're confused, it's okay. I'm still confused. We're all confused in life. You'll get there. You will survive. It'll be okay. You'll make it on the other side. Stay strong and keep at it.
Brilliant. It was great to have you here, Sara. This show is being powered by ITM Institute of Design and Media. Today we had with us Sara Sham from Isaji's Atelier. We have a lot of fun conversations and designers lined up, so stay tuned.